that Springsteen kid out of your office. He's wasting your time. You're not getting your work done. He's going nowhere. And Philbin said, this is Philbin's telling of the story. He said, he goes, that kid, he goes, he's not going anywhere. And he goes, he's never going to be anywhere. He goes, don't you know who that kid's going to be? And Yetnikoff says, what? And he said, you know, shut the fuck up. This guy is going to change the face of music. It's like, that's who he's going to be. Don't tell me who the fuck I can have in my office. And Yetnikoff just went like, who's like his boss's boss's boss. It was like, and just turned around and walked out of the room. And I ran that by Walter, and he said, he goes, I don't know, man. I probably, given who I was then, I should have thrown him out of the fucking window. That's what I would have done. He goes, what? That's a good story, so what the hell? Print it. But the truth is that in a year after Born to Run came out, Walter came back to Philbin and said, you were right, I was wrong, I need you to sign artists for this label. Go out to LA and run the A&R office out there. Right. So, praise be to Walter. Right. But the desperation in the air, we were talking about Born to Run, and the fact that what he came to understand is that he needed to distill the essence of the story that he needed to tell, which was that desperation to escape the boundaries that you've been presented with, and to build your own life, to create your own reality, which to him meant getting in a car, hitting the highway, and heading west, or just heading out of town. And it comes down to that same, those incredible words in the end of Thunder Road. It's a town full of losers, and we're pulling out of here to win. In a sense, that sounds like adolescent bravura. But on the other hand, those are words that he can sing now at 63 years old, and it's just as powerful, and it doesn't sound the least bit naive, because people are still doing that. And 63-year-old men can do that too, and that's what he's doing when he's hitting the road and going around the world. Now I want to ask you a question about Columbia, now that clearly you've spent a certain amount of time talking to those guys. I talked to a lot of those guys. I found them all fascinating and enormously cool. From the junior execs, the college radio guys, all the way up to Clive. What was your sense of them? What was the special ethic of Columbia that made Bruce Springsteen possible?
And actually, Bruce talks about this. John Landau, who was Bruce's manager and sort of alter ego in some ways, talked about when he was re-signing in the 80s, and he just went on and on about the label, the physical label, and how important it was to him, because Bob Dylan had been on that label too. But no, this goes back well before Clive Davis to, I think it goes back to Goddard Lieberson, the ethic, which is basically get great music and the business will follow.
Right.
And so you have, exactly as Peter says, I mean, Columbia Records in those days, and really today too, is a bunch of young men in their 20s, now there are women around too, that's changed, but just listening to music, and talking about music, and having a good time with music, and getting the best music they can find. In Goddard Lieberson's time, it was, as much Leonard Bernstein and, Rudolph Serkin as it was Tony Bennett and later Bob Dylan, but it was all about greatness, and that was what was driving them.